Hello there, everyone. Welcome to my podcast again. This is Ro, and tonight is a Saturday night, and I hope you guys could join my podcast tonight. And I am so glad and I'm very honored to have my guest today. Tonight, she is a retired government civilian employee and author of two books, and also a motivational speaker. And best of all, she is a brand new social media influencer and a full time podcaster. Demetrius Dee Bryant. Hello, Dee.
Hey,
You are
how are
so
you?
gorgeous tonight. How are you?
So good to see you. I'm doing great. Thank you so much.
It's a
Thank you.
pleasure. It's a pleasure to have you tonight. Why won't you tell us so that listeners would really know you?
Okay. Well, Roy, you did a very good job, kind of like just building it up. So thank you for that nice introduction. I greatly appreciate it. And so once again, I'm Dee Bryant from Dee Bryant Inspired. I'm so glad that you guys are here to join us today. Thank you so much. And thank you for selecting me to do a quick interview on. I greatly appreciate it. I love to be able to kind of tell people my story to kind of get them excited about the work that I'm doing. Once again, I'm retired military. I served 21 years in the United States Army as a communication officer, and I just recently retired from the federal government as a civilian. I was
Mhm.
an Air Force civilian, and so I did that job, or I worked in government service as a civilian for about 15 years. And so I've written two books, and I've also won a couple of prestigious awards. I like to tell you
Right, right.
that. Yeah, so I
What about
recently,
those prestigious awards that you got?
I'm sorry.
Could you tell us more about those prestigious awards that you?
Yes, 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 absolutely. And so I just recently, I was awarded from the International Association of Top Professionals. They've identified me as being their most inspirational, their top inspirational speaker and author for 2023. Very
Mm,
prestigious award. And so I'm going to actually be awarded and given the award physically in New York in December. So I'm really looking forward to that. And
mm.
then I was also recently inducted into the International Society of Female Professionals, which is about 250,000 women strong. And so I'm super excited about that too. And so, yeah, I'm a podcaster. I like to think of myself as a podcaster influencer. Yeah, so yeah, I'm
See,
excited about that. So that's some of the stuff that I have going on.
one quick question I would
Yeah.
really like to tackle this on my podcast. How does it feel to have your podcast heard in 20 nations worldwide?
Wow, that is exciting. Oh my gosh, I was just like, I'm just over the moon about the opportunity to have so many international countries listening, including the US. And so, I think the team just reported to me on Friday that we have 20 different countries listening with well over 16,000 active listeners. And I'm blown away because I've only been doing my podcast for 7 months, close to 8 months now. And I have about 35 episodes out there, and they're fairly short, and I'm just super excited. I can't wait to tell you a little bit more about my podcast.
Looking forward to have like more than 50 listeners worldwide. Anyway,
Yeah.
I would like to ask you about the why listen episode. Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, yeah. So what I did a 2-minute podcast episode on why listen because instead of people just trying to explain to people what it is I'm trying to do based upon all the different episodes that I have out there, I
Mhm.
kind of wanted to put it in a nutshell. And so my podcast is focused on motivating and inspiring young people towards military service here in the US, specifically the United States Army. And the reason why I've chosen the Army because I'm Army retired, and that's what I know. And so for me, it's very important for me to be as true as possible in my podcasting and try to be as authentic as possible as well. And so that's why I'm kind of like so focused on the Army. But what I'm doing is pretty much just I'm taking little snippets out of my first book, and I guess we'll talk about that on a different podcast. But my first book is called Holding On and Not Giving Up on
I
Self. And so
really
you
love
can
that one.
download that on Amazon. But my podcast is based upon that book. And so what I'm doing, I'm taking little little topics out of that book, and I'm creating them into inspirational talks based upon my experience. And yeah, so just getting our young people stirred up. And so what I want to do is make sure that our young folk, I say folks a lot because I'm from the South, but I want to make sure that our young people are well informed, when it comes to making decisions, when it comes
Mhm.
to joining the army, when it comes
Very
to
important.
life choices, and
Right.
also understanding consequences. And so that's pretty much what my podcast is focused on. And I'm so proud of it.
Well, yeah, I try to listen, of course, to all of your episodes, and oh my God, I really have that idea that it is really your will to help young people, young generation, to know what is militarism all about, to know what is holding on, what about your problems, sorry, and
Yeah.
related to that after the book, right?
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about access, opportunities, and great rewards. I know this will focus more on the military service.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of young generations right now is very more willing to learn coming from you personally on
Yeah.
this. So tell me what.
And young people, I'm so glad of the fact that you're listening, and to the parents out there, I'm so glad that you're listening and you're
Mm,
encouraging your young children,
mm,
that special child in your life to at least take a listen. And so I'm not trying to force the military on them. I'm
yeah,
kind of trying to explain the military as being a viable option. It's kind
right.
of like when I graduated from high school, I didn't have any money to go to college, and so it's just homework and fast food, and trouble was all around me. So I had to make a choice in terms of, do I stay in that environment or do I take risk and step out of
Mm,
my comfort zone and go and do something much better in support of making, a better future. And so that's kind of what I've done. But access, opportunities, and great rewards is probably my favorite episode that I have out there on
yeah,
my
the top
podcast.
rank. Right. It's
Yeah, it's
actually
my
the top.
favorite, and I also think it's the most listened to as
Right.
well. But for that particular podcast, it's all it's doing is doing a self-reflection over the last 36 years of my life. And that's during a time when I realized just what a pivotal role the military has played in my
Mm-hmm.
life when it comes to being the person that I am today. And because of that, I had access, opportunities, and great rewards just by serving. And just as a little quick example of you to you is the fact that what I'm so proud of mostly is the fact that I had the opportunity to serve along great leaders and like-minded individuals, which were crucial to developing a winning spirit and belief in self. It's kind of like I learned to accept my strengths and my weaknesses, and through it all, I
Mm-hmm.
learned to tap into unknown gifts, talents, and abilities I didn't even know that I had. Not
Mm-hmm.
only that, it's kind of like while serving, I had the opportunity to learn to go beyond exceeding boundaries of being average and mediocre, while knowing better is doing better. And when it came to equal opportunity, it's kind of like, I had equal opportunity to stand toe to toe with my peers to be great. But most importantly, when it came to serving, I had the opportunity to do something so much bigger than self. And that was just serving our great country. And then when it came to great rewards, it's kind of like I had the opportunity to learn and understand, the Army core values consisting of leadership, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, integrity, and personal courage. It's kind of like the Army core values are embedded in my heart, my mind, and my soul. And it's kind of like those values serves as my moral compass when it comes to doing right when no one is watching. And it was just an awesome career. I had the chance to get 3 degrees while serving, and it didn't cost me not one dime on top
Oh,
of that. And so
really?
it's just one of the benefits of serving and, doing well. And so even when you decide to join the military, you don't have to stay to make it a career. You don't have to stay 10 or 20 years. You don't have to. I'm thinking if you go in and you serve between 3 and 6 years, you get out as a veteran, you'll be entitled to veteran benefits. Not only that, but you will have a lot of money to go to college. You won't have to worry about getting into debt to go to school. I think it's a great option because while you're in the military, you're maturing, you're learning how to become a responsible, independent adult. And I think it's just no better way to learn it, me personally.
I have a question. It's a common knowledge that when you join the military service, most of them would think, the combats, getting to war, um,
Yeah.
battles, and something like that. Now, how could you like say something that it is really not that thing after all?
Well, let me just say, prior to joining the military, I was apprehensive about joining. I mean, I was
Right, right.
reluctant even go and sit down with a recruiter because that was so not me. It's kind of like
Right.
I saw people walking around in high school marching like soldiers,
I even had
doing
questioned
the
before.
drills. It's
How
like
could
that's so not me.
I
Of course
questioned
it is
myself.
not.
I questioned myself before how could be a lovely lady, ever decided to join military,
Yeah,
and too
I was
hated to
more, and
join.
I was more like the princey type, and so it's like, I don't want to break a nail. So joining the military is like a rude awakening to me. I don't know if you know this movie is called Private Benjamin. It came out in the 80s.
Mhm.
This was a young lady that joined the military. She's like totally out of her element, just couldn't catch on to anything. And that was me. But it was hard. And so I was apprehensive about joining the military. I was concerned about, going to war, being in combat, serving around men, and even the women I wasn't too sure of. And so I had my own apprehensions of
Mhm.
going in. But, it's kind of like I was at a crossroad in my life to where either I stay in place and continue to struggle and not be able to make ends meet, or I take risk, and that's life. Life is all about taking risks, taking chances,
Right.
and just doing your best to try and make a difference for yourself and those around you. And so I just take that very seriously. And so I haven't always been the way that I am today. I've grown over the years in terms of, it's kind of like when you know better, you do better. And so over the years, I've learned a lot, and I've made mistakes, and I've done some course correction, and I'm growing every day. And so I tell people I'm not perfect by any means, and so I am still a work in progress. And I think what's really great for me is the fact that the Lord is head of my life. He really is. And so he directs everything that I do. And so even when it comes to speaking, I'm in prayer before I even speak. And it's always about, it's kind of like decrease me and increase you, Lord. And normally he just has his way, in terms of how I come across. And so I'm just so grateful to God for everything that's happening in my life. And all I can say is just stay tuned. There's a lot on the horizon for me. So if you're not following me out there on my podcasting, please do that. Dee Bryant
The
Inspired.
best time.
Yeah, Dee Bryant Inspired there on Spotify and Anchor. And then please check out my website at deebryintinspired.com. And I'm out on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. I'm out there, and I have a fantastic team that's doing a fabulous job in terms of keeping fresh new material out there every single week. And so just stay tuned. There's a lot on the horizon. Remember the name Dee Bryant because you're going to hear it again.
I know you develop or you discover the importance of self-discipline when you join the military service, right? Now, what is really the importance of self-discipline? Second, so how could you say it as a form of a piece of advice to a young, child or a grow up as he grow up?
Yeah, I think when it comes to self-discipline, the important thing to remember is that it's all about self-control. It's all about being able to do something that you don't even feel like doing. You have to make up in your mind in terms of what it is you want. What is it you want to do? Figure out why are you doing it? And then if you decide if this is what I'm going to do, you need to like, it's like it's almost like committing to yourself that
Mhm.
you're going to get it done without having to rely on being validated by others. And so the thing is, it's all about self, right? That means that you're responsible for yourself. It's all about self-control. When it comes to any kind of addiction, there's people out there that can help you with that. But in most cases, it's stuff that you can probably control yourself by simply getting out of the environment that you're in. And so when you're in an environment where there's negativity around you, you're not going to do good in that environment. You're not going to excel. And so
Right.
the way to remove yourself to really get on track in terms of trying to stay disciplined and doing the right thing, you've got to remove yourself from that environment. In some cases, you probably got to just find your new set of friends. If you're serious about life and doing great things in your life, you just got to take that step and do it. You just got to. Here's the thing. I honestly believe that we are all born with special gifts, talents, and abilities. And we have that desire inside of us. And it's kind of like the desire is the starting point to achievement. It is. It's the starting point to all great things. And just to quote, I just did an important talk at one of the one of the U.S. agencies here, and I threw out a famous quote by Napoleon Hill.
Mhm.
And Napoleon Hill, this was, he says that desire is the starting point of all achievement, not a wish, not a hope, but a pulsating desire, which transcends everything. And so it all starts with desire. It's all inside of you. You have it inside of you to achieve whatever it is you want to achieve, regardless of what the naysayers may say. First of all, you got to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself and love yourself, that's so important. Self-love is so important, but you got to love yourself. You got to believe in yourself while not depending on others to validate you to be and do whatever it is you want to do. That's my advice. I know it's a bit long-winded, but that's me.
This would really draw a lot of listeners in the near future. I love this topic. I love this topic. Dee, when we say self discipline, is it a factor of having like an impulsive buying, impulsive seeing something? It's sometimes some kind of a sort of self discipline, right? Or is it really also a disorder? Because you're not
I
disciplining
Well,
yourself.
yeah, but I'm not an expert. I can't speak on that behalf. And so when I try to speak, and if you have not listened to my podcast that talks about the importance of self-discipline, I highly recommend that you listen to that. And so I put quite a bit of
Great.
research into that particular podcast to make sure that I got it right in terms of whatever it is I'm saying. But I can just say when it comes to self-discipline, it's all about self. It's all about having self-control. That's the key. It's all about self-control. And so
Simple.
either you're gonna focus and try to have that and do better. And it's okay if you make mistakes, right? It's okay if you fall off the track in terms of being on that road of the straight and narrow. It's okay if you do that. But the important thing is to learn from your mistakes, figure
Right.
out where did you go wrong and how you can do better. And this is what I always say also, you need to always try and develop a plan to
Mm.
try and get better. And so I try and break that plan into a plan based on the SMART acronym, right? The word SMART, SMART, meaning that you need to come up with a plan. What specific thing, the S is specific, what specific thing is it you want to do? And then how do you measure success? Like, for instance, let's say, I want to go to college, right? I want to go to college, or I want to get into a certain school, right? So the specific
It's a
thing
desire,
you want
right?
to, yeah, you want to get into school, and then how do you measure that? You measure that by the grades that you make, right? So many of the institutions are based upon, GPA, test scores. So meaning that you got to work on that. So you can measure how well you're doing based on the grades that you're making, right? And then when it comes to the A, and then you have to make sure it's achievable. Whatever that goal is it realistic? You say, okay, I want to set a goal. I want to make an A in math, knowing that you're terrible at math and you've only
Right.
made B's all this time. That's not very realistic, right? So let's keep it realistic. Let's say I want to at least make a C plus, right? Or a B minus in math. And then you slowly grow, right? And then you have the R. What is R? Oh my gosh, what is R? Oh, I forgot. T is
Path.
timely. I can't remember. I got a brain fart. But yeah, but if you listen to the importance of self-discipline, I go through all of that. I go through the acronym of SMART, and I kind of break it down for you. And I give you specific examples. And so I just need you to go out there and take a look. I got so much good information out there for you. And everyone, can benefit. This isn't just for young people. I think the demographics of my listeners are mostly older people beyond high school, beyond college. So,
Others.
and we're getting some really positive feedback, and so I just highly recommend. Whatever it is you're thinking, whatever it is you want to do, go out there and take a look at my smorgasbord of topics. And they're not that long, 10 to 20 minutes, pick and choose. And I bet there's something out there just for you that's going to help you today.
As a motivational speaker, like, can you give us like a few words about giving up? Like, about your book, holding on to oneself and not giving up. Don't
Yeah,
give up. I also love your episode. Don't give up. Now,
yeah.
if you have the chance now to elaborate it more for the sake of our listeners out there.
Yeah. So I can just say when it comes to not giving up, it's going back to self-discipline as well. And so you have to decide in
Mm,
your mind what it is you want to do, and you just gotta stick with it no matter what, right? You gotta, and then I think the big challenge is just, people just feeling the need to be validated by others. And so my thing is when you allow yourself to believe in yourself and you get grounded in the word, and that's the Bible. I'm sorry. That's what works for me. And so this is why, I am constantly relying on my faith in God to get me through every single situation. And I like the fact when you allow yourself to dig into the Bible. I mean, if you're not even into that, but if you just start reading a little scripture once, one scripture a night, and you will slowly learn and start to interpret the word in a positive way, and it's going to help you because I kind of see myself. I think what has really helped me in terms of not giving up is that I have such a positive spirit about everything. And it's kind of like with me, the glass is always halfway full. It's never empty. It's always halfway full. And so I think it's your attitude as well. So that has a lot to do with it. So you have to just try and have a good attitude about everything that you're doing. Like I said, you got negative people around you that's dragging you down, they're not
mm,
building you up, you got to let that go. You just got
right.
to let it go, right? Either that or you're going to continue to stay in that environment and you're going to go down that same road. And before you know it, you're going to find yourself in trouble. And this is what I don't want. And so I think what's really concerning to me is the fact that I'm troubled every time I turn the news on and I see that we have have lost another young person due to some senseless killing. It's
Mm,
like, Lord, please make it stop. And so I know we as responsible adults, we got to do our part to try and help our young people, to try and get them on track and to get them to realize and understand that they are enough just as they are. And so let's figure out what is that special gift because we all have some special gift growing inside of us. Let's figure out what that is and
right.
let's start to nurture that. Nurture that. And then once you start to realize, oh yeah, I can do this. Oh yeah, this is working out. And then you start to develop that mentality of, I can do this. And that's where you want to be. And that's what I'm trying to encourage throughout all my podcasting efforts.
Whew, that's very enlightening.
We're
Anyway,
touching everything today.
all right, so that was actually Dee Bryant. And Dee, thank you so much for your words of wisdom, words of thought. That was so enlightening. And could you invite them to visit your social media accounts, please?
Yes, yes. So I just want, I can't sign off. It's kind of like what I do with my podcast. I cannot sign off without thanking my incredible podcast team there at
Thank you
Strongton's Virtual Media
so
Hub. I'm in virtual
much.
media, Strongton's Virtual Hub. And so I just want to thank my team so much for all the great work that you do because
Mm,
I cannot do this without my team.
right. And
Ro, you're the
everyone
head
out
of this team.
there.
So I just want to say thank you so much for the this opportunity, and I just want to say thank you for from the very beginning when I first started my podcast. I didn't know what the heck I was doing, and you said just do anything, and so that first couple of episodes was like do anything, unscripted. I didn't even think about it. I just did it, and you were so encouraging, and just based upon the long emails you used to send me in terms of I have something and don't give up and all of that. And look how what it's turning into. This has been totally incredible. So I just want to just say thank you personally for all of your encouragement, for all of your support of you and the team for doing all the hard, heavy lifting for me. I
You're
greatly appreciate it.
very
My job is easy. My job is easy. I do the recording, I toss it over the fence to you, and I'm done. And then you make it beautiful. So thank you so much for that. And I'm super excited about all of our listeners out in 20 different countries. There's probably too many to name, but I just want to say thank you all so very much for listening. I am just so grateful how this thing is really taking off, all because of you,
It
because
always
you're
a
encouraging
pleasure.
people to listen. Thank you so much. I am so grateful for that. And so I am going to continue to do the work. I said I wanted to
Mhm.
try and get a new episode up every Sunday. So I'm trying hard to stay true to that word. It's just that I'm super busy. I got a lot going on. But this is also a very important effort that's dear to my heart. And so I'm going to try my best to keep that going. I just ask and pray that you just continue to support me. And I will do my best not to disappoint you. And so
Thank
until next time, stay
you.
safe and blessed and take good
All
care.
right. Until
Bye
next
bye.
time, you stay safe.